Hi, Carmen Leonardo here with a quick real estate market update for you. Today, we are going to delve into a very deep subject called the absorption rate. The absorption rate. What is the absorption rate? The absorption rate is simply this um, a number that tells us how long it's going to take to sell the existing inventory of real estate, assuming that no other properties are listed for sale. When we look at this chart here, it's backwards to me, hopefully it's readable to you. We see that in a normal market, we have an absorption rate of 4 to 6 months. And what that means is that it takes about 4 to 6 months to sell the properties that are at that time currently listed for sale. When we have an absorption rate that is less than 4 months, so 1, 2, or 3 months, we have what's called a seller's market. When we have an absorption rate that is greater than 6 months, so 7, 8, or more months, we have what's called a buyer's market. So let's see where we're at today, okay? We are going to figure out what the absorption rate is by looking at the number of active listings and dividing that by the number that are sold per day. And that is going to give us our absorption rate. Very easy stuff here. So we're going to take the number of sold in the last 31 days and divide it by 31 days, and that's going to give us the number that are sold per day. Looking at our multiple listing service, I found out just a few minutes ago that in the last 31 days, 443 single-family homes were sold in Monroe County. So that tells us that we are selling approximately 14 homes per day in Monroe County. And if we look at the current inventory, so all of the single family homes that are currently actively listed for sale, and divide that by the rate of selling 14 per day, we have an absorption rate of about 56 days, so almost 2 months. So where does that put us? Well, going back to our first chart, that puts us right about over here. So we are still in a relatively strong seller's market. And I say still, that's a little bit different than what we thought was going to happen. You'll remember back at the end of last year, there was every indication to believe that the Fed was going to be raising interest rates a couple of times this year, and that upward pressure on interest rates we thought would take some buyers out of the market, and therefore relieving some pressure on the existing inventory. We also thought at the time that we would have more properties coming on the market for sale. And so both of those two things happening at the same time, we thought was going to move us towards a more normal market, something closer to a 4 or 6 month absorption rate. Probably not a 6 month absorption rate, but a 3+, closer to 4. What happened is in the first quarter of this year, the economy got a little sloppy. And so now we're being told that the Fed is probably not going to raise the interest rates. And so the seller market that we've experienced over the last couple of years, it looks like it's going to be continuing, at least for the foreseeable future. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a competitive market. I work with lots of buyers, and we've been very successful in purchasing dream homes. You just need to be patient, you need to be tenacious, and you need to move quickly. When we do that, and we employ some of our winning strategies in writing offers, we land our dream home. And it's not. It's also frustrating on the sell side. Everyone thinks that this is a fantastic market for sellers. It is and it isn't. We also need to be careful that when we are securing the highest price for your home, we are securing it from the most qualified buyer. Lots of people are doing some very silly things out there, overpaying for homes by astronomical numbers. And, then sometimes people get cold feet, or the bank figures out that in fact they're not qualified for that $10,000 or $15,000 more, or the home doesn't appraise, and the deal falls apart. So that isn't so good for sellers or the buyers. So it's frustrating on both sides of the equation. Just got to stick with it. This market will pass eventually. All markets are cyclical. And at some point, we will return to a more normal market with an absorption rate, that's their big word, of 4 to 6 month inventory. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, my name, as you know, I think, is Carmen Leonardo, and my phone number is 233-4119. Hopefully you can read my penmanship. If not, I'll repeat it again. It's 233-4119. That's a cell phone number. Feel free to text anytime, and I will get back to you as soon as I can with answers to your questions. Okay, take care. So long, and until next time, enjoy spring.